Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this webinar brought to you by Busan, Malaysia and managed by LifeChamp. Today, we are very excited for doing this webinar titled Waqf Concept in Islamic Capital Market. My name is Stella and I will be your moderator for today. So today, the Waqf concept has been integrated into the Islamic capital market. Waqf asset can be used to create investment products that provide financial returns to investors while also fulfilling the social and religious obligation of Waqf. So, today we are going to discuss about Waqf concept in Islamic capital market. So, without any further ado, let me share with you a short disclaimer. Please be reminded that all the information shared in this webinar is mainly for educational purpose. So in no way that we will give any recommendation for you to buy or sell any securities that we are mentioned here. So if you decide to make any investment decision, you are 100% responsible for all your investment risks. Now, allow me to briefly introduce our speaker, Ms. Nurin. Ms. Nurin has graduated with Bachelor in Actuarial Science from University Kebangsaan of Malaysia. She has over 15 years of experience in the banking and finance industry and has developed a strong foundation in financial planning and investment management. Currently, she holds a CMSRL license from the Securities Commission Malaysia and is a licensed financial planner. She designs and delivers customized training programs on topics related to financial planning, Islamic estate planning, and other financial instruments for public and private sector organizations, as well as higher institutions. Let's welcome Ms. Nurin.
Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone. Okay, thank you for attending this session for this evening. I know that this is quite a cool day. I mean, most of the states are raining, and here in JB is actually raining at my place. Currently, I'm in JB right now, so the rain is the whole day. The whole day, JB is raining. So so I share the slide, is it, Stella? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, for today, I think most of for those who are Muslim, they must I guess that you must have heard about Waqf, and also these are the one of the tools that we use for in Islamic estate planning. So here I would like to introduce you to those who are non-Muslim that Waqf concept in Islamic capital market. But before that, I would like to just have a quick introduction of what is Waqf, Zakat, and also Sadaqah. Some people think that these terminology are the same. So in Islam, this terminology is actually different, and they are actually, yeah, these are the donation methodology to the needy, but it is actually in a different kind of transaction, and also different kind of what we call hukum. The thing is actually different. So let us go for the definition. Definition of Waqf is a form of charitable endowment in Islam, where a specific asset or property or money dedicated for religious charity purpose. The capital is generally preserved and returns and used for intended cause. So that means that specific asset that is actually given by the donor for a specific purposes. And also and for zakat, Zakat is one of the 5 pillars in Islam, and most of us knows that it's actually mandatory, it's wajib, and it is actually the proportion of zakat is actually depends on what kind of wakaf, whether it is actually wakaf, different types of zakat, whether the zakat is actually for zakat when we our zakat income tax, or maybe your income or your investment, or another one is actually once a year that the Muslim need to have a zakat fitrah. Okay. And for sedekah is actually also we call it as an infaq, where you can actually donate as and when you want to generate for any kind of purpose, and anytime, any kind of methodology, whether you want it to be in money, goods, or any act of kindness. Okay, so these are the definition, and these are the charitable acts that we find in Quran. For the wakaf, it is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, um, Surah Al-Baqarah ayat 261, and also in a hadith. And I think most of us know that there are more ayat, surah, and also hadith in Islam that can actually mention about wakaf. For zakat, specific zakat is actually under Surah Al-Taubat, and then also there are some other surah that maybe most of you are more knowledgeable than me in this area, could actually can know about the surah of this for the zakat, which is actually this is compulsory and wajib. And also hadith, there are so many hadith that mention about the zakat. And then sadaqah is also in the surah, and Al-Baqarah is one of the surah that mention more on the donation, and we should give the art of giving. Okay, and also hadith. So for this session, I would like to maybe we can actually have a Q&A session at the end of the session, if that is okay with you. Okay, let us go through the character of wakaf. Wakaf is actually the quality of the wakaf is actually like a permanence. When somebody is actually established their asset to wakaf and dedicate this the asset to specific charitable cause, it shall remain intact, which means they cannot take back the asset, and they cannot and the person who is actually managing the wakaf for him or her cannot do otherwise that other than what he intend to do. Okay, you can actually, let's say if the person has a land, and he wakaf the land to a charitable institution, saying that they want the charitable institution to manage it for the for that particular village. Okay, for any purpose, for everyone in this village. So this association need to what I would say is actually they need to comply, and then they need to fulfill the wish of the donors, who is actually giving the land to the village. Okay, to the village, to make sure that the wakaf is actually for the people in the village, or even the people who come to the village. Maybe the land is meant for making a mosque, or maybe um the any kind of good intention. So the donors need to be alive during the transition of Waqf to the specific NGO who is actually managing the Waqf. Okay, and Waqf is also focused on the community development. Another one is actually Waqf used as the Islamic estate planning tool, whereas the part of their asset maybe their cash or maybe their savings in their accounts, or maybe their money in their tabung haji or whatever investment they plan to wakaf it, to wakaf the asset to a specific cause when he or she dies. Okay, that is one of the function of wakaf. Whereas the characters of zakat is obviously is actually it is actually compulsory for all Muslim because it's one of the 5 pillars, and this is actually based on yearly basis, and what we call they need to have a complete haul and complete nisab, which means complete 1 year and also complete the limit of the asset. So the certain limit of the asset. So I'm not going to go detail about the zakat, but still you can actually have a question after this. And then zakat is one of the tools for in Muslim we call it wealth purification, which means every asset that we obtain need to be purified. Okay, so there are not everything that we have is actually for us. There are some portion that is actually not belong to us that we need to zakat. Okay, and then the systematic redistribution is the one that I mentioned. They have we have rules in a zakat system. Let's say this is one of the example that your income is actually 2.5% of your income need to be zakat if it is more than 85 gram of equals to 85 gram of gold. Okay, gold. Okay, Sadaqah is very simple. It's like a normal donation, no obligation. You can actually give, you can actually not to give. You can actually give any amount that you want. There's no force element. So this is actually very, very spontaneous. Like for example, that we are actually donating to, maybe some of you are donating to Palestine, current situation. So these are the art of the art of giving. This is a normal donation that we are encouraged to do. Okay. Okay, this is actually the criteria and similarity and also different in between the wakaf, zakat, and sadaqah. So the nature of the wakaf is a charitable endowment. So this is like usually that when we wakaf, it is actually things that you give, you cannot take back, and then this is very definite. The purpose is very clear. What is actually the wakaf is for? The reason for you to wakaf. And then zakat is something that mandatory for Muslim, and sadaqah is a voluntary charity. So the percentage is wakaf, there's no percentage. You can actually wakaf your big amount or small amount, but in zakat this is actually 2.5. This example like 2.5 of your asset, and you have to complete the 1 year term, and also sorry, this is actually supposed to be term and also nisab. So nisab is actually something that your asset need to be above 80 equals to 85 gram of gold, the value of gold. And then the sadaqah is actually as per choice. Okay. Again, the obligation is voluntary for wakaf, mandatory for zakat, and also sadaqah is voluntary. type of giving is actually normally is actually asset endowment. And this is a zakat is on the wealth-based obligation, and sedekah is volunteer charity. Okay, for wakaf, there must be a specific purpose, specific reason for you to wakaf your asset for what? Okay, for zakat, it's just an obligation. Oh, okay, sorry. For the zakat, it's actually you need to give to 8 designation groups. This is actually we call it 8 asnaf. Okay, 8 asnaf is actually those who entitled to receive the zakat. Okay, and for the sadaqah is just a charitable cause. You can give to anyone. You can have the purpose for anything. So this is actually more this is not forcible. It's actually just when you think that you want to give, you give. When you think that you can't afford to give for that particular time, you don't have to give. So that is actually the specific of cost, specificity of the cost. And then the frequency is normally it is actually whether it is one time you are wakaf your asset to this particular purpose one time. Maybe you have a house you want to wakaf for charity, you want to give up your one of your house. Maybe you have a certain made few types of residential or whatever you want to give to one particular reason to wakaf in, then you can actually wakaf. And then there's also that you tend to have this kind of there's a kind of a wakaf that you can actually do it yearly basis. So it is actually ongoing. So you go to the program that you can actually wakaf every year. So that is actually the frequency. There's no it is actually based on what you give and what is actually the purpose of the wakaf. And zakat is annual. All Muslim need to comply the zakat annually if their total asset or total income is more than the total earning is more than 85 gram gold value. Okay. One time sadaqah, usually we do it like one time or ongoing or as and when we want to give. So wakaf also regulation. Actually, governed by specific rule, yes, but you can actually, because you need to make sure that your asset is actually well managed by the person who is actually handling your asset for that particular purpose. Okay, so usually we go for Majlis Agama Islam negeri. Every state have their own Majlis Agama Islam, and then specific NGOs, Muslim NGOs, they have they manage this kind of wakaf. And then some association is actually doing some raise fund to build a mosque or maybe tafiz. They ask whether some of the people want to wakaf their money for that specific development. This is they are very, they will have to be someone who is actually managing the wakaf. For zakah, this is actually governed by Islamic law, and sedekah is no restricted regulation. You can actually give. You can actually give to anyone, any association, any NGOs, anyone. So purification aspect is actually more to zakat. Other than these two, for wakaf and also sedekah, this is actually very is one of the, what we call it, a donation. Is the donation and also the giving, the art of giving. Okay. Sorry. I'm not sure why. Okay. Okay. Now we focus on the wakaf. For wakaf, there are pillars for wakaf that are divided to 4. First, when you want to wakaf something, the wakaf need to have a donor. That means the person who is actually having the asset, okay? And then the wakaf asset. The wakaf asset need to fulfill the following condition. It must be Sharia compliant asset, and then the wakaf asset can take various form, as such as real estate, money, security, or any other valuable asset. They need to have a value in their assets. Okay, income generated from the asset usually used to be distributed to the identified beneficiaries. Okay, and then while they're retaining the principal asset. So that means that the asset need to be grow, and they need to be generating income. Okay. Okay, the person, the wakif, the donor is actually the sole owner of the asset, and nobody else is having the right to disposition at any time of the established wakaf. That means he himself or herself need to have a full control of their asset. That means when they donate the asset, nobody is going to contest. Okay. So in other words, that if you want to wakaf your asset, it cannot be under financing. Okay, it's not going, cannot be under loan or something like that. Okay, the third one is actually beneficiaries wakaf. Okay, beneficiaries can be anyone. Okay, individual, a group of people, communities, even if and then all the needy, can be Muslim or can be non-Muslim. It doesn't matter. But the donor need to specify what kind of reason, what kind of purpose that he want to donate the asset. Okay. As long that the asset is actually benefit to the people who are actually accepting the asset benefit. What I always say, the person who's actually the beneficiary will be benefit from the wakaf asset. Yeah, from the wakaf asset, as long the asset is not going to be not to be trouble for those who is accepting the asset, wakaf asset. Okay. Okay, this one you need to ask me if you don't understand. Okay. And then wakaf statement, sirah, we call it, is like a documented formal document that is stated that you hand over your asset to the specific beneficiaries as a wakaf. This one must be clear. If you don't have that specific document, it won't be a wakaf, a proper wakaf. Okay. Okay, this is actually the concept and requirement. Yeah, I have already mentioned it before. The primary requirement is actually dedicated the property to be, that means when you wakaf something, your asset will be taken out of your ownership. Okay, so you must be clear. You cannot take back what you have already wakaf. It is not it is prohibited in Islam. Okay, if you give, you cannot take back. The same goes for hibah. Okay, I'm not going to go through into that. This is the same methodology that we are actually understand. You need to understand. Okay. Again, asset permitted according to Sharia laws, real estate, cash, and other tangible or non-tangible asset. They need to be halal and permissible in Islamic law. donor must have a clear and rightful ownership of the asset. Let's say he said that the land is under his name. They need to make sure that under that grant, his name is stated there, not his grandfather, grandmother, whatever. Even though their parents actually gave the land to you, give, if your grandmother or your mother give the land to you, but in the document, the proper document is not stated under your name, you cannot walk off that property to somebody else. Okay, make sure that it is actually properly hand over. Okay, okay. Okay, there's a slight there's a slight mistake. Waqaf can be broadly classified into probably four, because I am actually want to discuss on the four categories. It's not two. Okay, first is actually Waqaf Zuri, is actually family and descendants Waqaf, which is actually the purpose is for the purpose of the Waqaf is to benefit the family and the descendants of the founder. So that means maybe your great grandfather have a land, a big land that he want to hand over to the next generation and the next generation. That is one of the Waqaf that he actually can do, but make it properly and make it documented. So there won't be any contest and everything problem later on. So the asset allocation under Waqaf could include properties, fund, businesses. Yeah, like maybe you can actually plan the family legacies that generate income to sustain the needs of the family members or descendants. A person may establish a Waqaf to provide housing for family members and donating funds to support the education and medical needs of their donors' descendants. This is actually Waqaf Zuri. I think most of us probably have known that this kind of Waqaf is there. Okay, Waqaf Khairi is actually charitable Waqaf. This is actually very famous Waqaf globally. This is actually a 1%, maybe a few percent is actually donate the property to be used by the society. This is actually example like they give the land to build school, college, universities for education, and then maybe they have a maybe like foundation that actually funding the healthcare facilities, orphanage home for elderly, and also allocating resources of poverty and community service development, things like that. Okay, the second one is actually this is not very maybe in Malaysia we have. This is actually for Waqaf Asabir. This is actually for when those who have been in I've been going to maybe travel to Macau, something like that, do your Umrah. This Waqaf is actually they use for those travelers who actually benefit for that particular asset. So sometimes they build water wells, and then maybe they build a place to stay, things like that. They are also Waqaf for travelers. They specifically do for travelers because they know that this place are usually has their what we call tourists. Okay. Okay, can I answer later? Okay, doctor. Okay, yeah. Okay, Waqf Istismari is a commercial investment Waqf. This is currently, not currently, it's lately it become quite there's awareness of this Waqf to be developed actually globally. So this is actually involved in the commercial investment purposes. So they want to generate the income that particular association or particular individual towards the charitable causes. It combines the economic sustainability and also philanthropy. So they actually make the asset to become commercial and businesses to make sure that the wakaf that they actually the wakaf that they are the asset that they are wakaf the asset that they are wakaf is will be will generate income. Okay, shopping complex, okay lah, shopping complex, office building with rentals, and then also investing in ethical, sustainable businesses and profit direct to community development. Okay, these are the things that and also part of the investment, like probably they are going to have a fund which is actually donated and wakaf by invested by others to make sure that when the income generated, part of it is will be going to the wakaf purpose. Okay, okay, these are the concept used by Muslim globally. Education wakaf is a very famous. If you know that one of the famous University Al-Azhar is one of the Al-Azhar, Mesir, is one of the university that is actually wakaf from the person who is actually wakaf that university, the land and also the building. So, and then humanitarian aid wakaf and technology and innovation wakaf. Okay, these are currently wakaf is being developed to this kind of purpose. Okay, okay, maybe we can actually go for the Q&A later. Okay, another one is wakaf for education in Turkey, healthcare in Malaysia. Yeah, these are the example. Okay, Islamic culture wakaf Saudi and also wakaf for social welfare in Indonesia. Yeah, and then sorry. Yeah, we have a humanitarian aid Qatar. We have also finance wakaf in Emirates, Dubai. Emirates lah, it's not only Dubai. Okay, technology innovation wakaf is in Malaysia, MDEC. One of them is actually um, funding digital innovation. This kind of wakaf, we call it like this is not a what I say, what are the things that I want to say is actually not necessarily that the wakaf is actually intangible or non-tangible asset. It can be pattern. Okay. Okay. Perpetual. Okay, these are the advantage of wakaf is for continuous charity, social welfare. For Muslim, we call it a spiritual rewards and also one of the important tools in estate planning. Okay. Okay, type of wakaf used in Malaysia. Okay, these are the types of wakaf that I mentioned before, that we have movable assets. Okay, gold, cash, vehicles, and everything. So, and then immovable, these are very clear, land, buildings, and other fixed properties. These are used many in Malaysia. And the third one is actually intellectual asset. This is actually knowledge-based economy, intellectual asset increasing, being considered as Waqf initiative, especially in university, okay, for education programs, scholarship, development project, and then this usually this one is actually in university, and also for certain purpose that certain organization that develop certain things for the society. Okay. Okay, the Waqf Future Fund is the one that is, I would say, quite new, but not so new. This is actually, we integrate the Waqf featured funds in Islamic capital market. Okay, the thing is, way forward, we are going to have many, I think maybe we are going to have many funds which is actually Shariah compliance, and actually Waqf featured products. Okay, so there are some other product which has already started this, but uh for Bursa, probably we think that we are going to develop. I think we will Bursa will plan to have this kind of Waqf principal, Waqf fund features that related to the shares and stock and funds. Okay, the feature is like the objective is to provide income and allow unit holders to channel all or part of the income distribution for the Waqf purpose. Okay, you can actually give all, or you can actually give part. Okay, another part is actually the eligible Waqf recipient will be limited, maybe limited. This is maybe, this is the possibility, will be limited to all and also authorized and also approved by the state religious government council or organization that authorized by the SIRC. Okay, the percentage of the distribution should be channeled for the Waqf purpose. Okay, disclosing the name of the Waqf recipients, okay, and the Waqf initiative. That means those who want to invest in this Waqf featured fund need to know who is the recipients and also what are the Waqf initiatives. These are the possible features that will be embedded in the Waqf featured fund, but in capital markets. Okay, the policies and the process relating to the selection of Waqf, and how they identified the recipients and initiative, and all the circumstances will be developed according to what are the policies under process. Okay, provide the basic understanding of the concept or practice related to Waqf in Islamic capital market. It will be enhanced and detailed, and will be informed by the Bursa when the product coming up. What I would actually example, it possibly is actually the Sharia compliance REITs, ETF, and probably some unit trust funds. These are the kind of Waqf featured fund. Okay. Okay, for the benefit is almost the same like the Waqf benefit, and also other the art of giving, in Islam. And also I think more not only Islam, other religion also know that the art of giving to the person who is needy, and then for the society, is actually a big heart of, big heart of way to live our life to the fullest. Am I right? So again, I think this is actually the end of my session. I am actually open up for any questions because I think most of us maybe want to know more about the Waqaf featured fund, the possible of what it's going to be, right? Or maybe, yeah, Stella, I have this one question, is it? Assalamualaikum. Okay, Dr. Hassan, in what ways does Waqaf promote family human development, particularly in area of education, health, and economy? Okay, in family Waqaf, for if you are mentioned about family Waqaf, Dr. Hassan, are you telling me that to promote the family human development, particularly in your family, or that the Waqaf for your for the others as well? But what I meant for that Waqaf family, it is actually to develop their own um their own descendants, their own generation. They want to protect their own generation, their own family, to make sure that everyone is actually, in the way forward, the next generation, they will actually have their enough money to feed their generation, and then enough money to make sure that the education is actually um sustain in their family. It is enough asset, enough money to make sure that their generation can have a good education. Maybe if you as a grandfather, let's say if me as a grandmother want to develop the education wakaf in a family, I make sure that it is actually such a way, they need to have a family discussion and things like that. Because, okay, to be frank, I have done this before. His this family, mother and father is actually passed away, and then they have like, I think about five three up to five piece of land, very very big land. So the childrens are 10 of them. So they they try to, to consolidate. They try to work among themselves to make sure that they come up with a one agreement among themselves to make this piece of land, the five piece of land, become is wakaf, part of it to be to for their village, and then part of it for the kids and whatever, as their the income to generate for the generation. That is what I have done. So I think that this the parents who has 10 children and who is passed away, I think they have a good children, because they agree to not to take or to sell, but to develop the five piece of land to make sure that their generation, their kids, their grandkids, or their whatever, the next generation can have that kind of benefit from then the property. Yes, Stella?
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you, Miss Nurin.
Mm-mm.
So the second question is, how do you do a family wakaf? Where do you go and do it?
Okay, the family wakaf is actually, you can actually go to the Majlis Agama Islam Negeri, or you can actually go for the specific, you can actually ask the lawyer to do that. The Islamic lawyer is the Shariah law lawyer to do that, and then there are trustee who is actually doing the wakaf also. So again, and they are also organization and also company is actually doing specifically they are doing the wakaf. What I know, one of them is in Johor, there's a Wakaf Anur, and then there are the other company is actually doing the wakaf, where they wakaf their asset to be managed by the company, and make sure that the income is generated and give to the specific reason that they want it. Again, it depends on what kind of purpose that you want to do, because some organization are doing specific things and some organization are doing according to what you wish.
Okay, the
Mm,
next question is,
mm.
if it's a family business that into the Waqf asset, who will manage the business and ensure its profitability? And what if the business goes into bankrupt?
Okay, okay. This is actually a good question. The thing is, you are doing the wakaf while you are still alive. So if you are still alive, make sure that your business, okay, if you have a business and you need to do a proper succession plan, right? So if you do a succession plan, make sure that your this is what I'm having. There's an issue because this particular person passed away without a proper um handover, proper succession plan. So there are problem that is actually can be occurred. So again, if you have a business, make it you do it a proper planning on your, again, Stella, you know that in financial as a whole, you need to have a proper planning. So whether you want to wakaf your business to your generation or you want to wakaf your business to the business itself, your company itself, to be benefit by the person or your staff, you can actually, yeah, again, it is actually depends on individual, because not everyone want to make sure that their business go to the company. They want their shares to the beneficiary, their own family. So again, what type of wakaf, what type of asset that you want to hand over to your generation or your family, or what you want your wakaf to be used by the public. Again, you need to have a very specific reason.
Okay, the next question is, for Waqf, for the startup, if the
Mm-mm.
startup didn't profitable, so did the Waqf asset is
Mm.
burned just like that?
No, not profit. Okay, you have to understand that if you wakaf certain things, what is actually your terms and condition with the person who the organization who's actually handling it. Okay, there are type of wakaf say that, okay, I wakaf my land to Stella. Okay, let's say I wakaf Stella, I wakaf to her.
Mm.
She need to make sure that the asset is actually profitable, and then that profit goes to the public. Okay, no, okay, the profit goes to, okay, that orphanage that is actually um on that piece of land, on that piece of my land that I have already wakaf. So you need to make sure that it is actually profitable. If you are saying that the startup, and then is it a share? Is it a share, or I mean, is it a business? Okay, if a business, you tak boleh, you cannot wakaf your business, you can wakaf your asset in your business. Betul tak? Yeah. Dr. Aziz, do I know you? Your name is so familiar. Okay. Yeah, yes, can. Doctors, can we can actually discuss it?
Okay,
Because yeah, actually
okay,
I have done the big one is actually the one that I said, the 10 siblings, they are so cooperative, and they work into towards one thing, because what they say is actually, I'm kind of surprised, yes, and it is true. We said that we don't want to take any faraid portion from our parents, because that is not our money actually. they want the that 5 piece of land to be wakaf, to be benefit by my late mother and father. They consolidate the agreement to such decision. So I was like, okay, so because some people thinks that they inherit an asset, so they should enjoy that. So I don't think that this family want that kind of that type. So, but again, it is up to individual and it is up to the family. If you want to take that portion of faraid, is okay. Kan? Kalau you want to have that wakaf, it is also okay. Uh, but
Okay.
you need to have a proper planning. That's all.
Mm. So, for the next question, how can individuals, institutions, and investors actively participate in and support the growth of Waqf in the Islamic capital market?
Okay, what I can see in I'm not sure what are the design that because we cannot reveal what are the design that the product that Bursa is planning, but what I can see is actually, let's say there is a one share, there is a one share, let's say ETF, let's say I'm not a ETF types of fund or share. So we invest in that kind of, is it my question, is it betul tak itu tak, that is actually supposed to be the answer, or I'm not answering the question. Okay, if that the fund A, the share A ETF, whatever ETF, I buy that A fund A ETF, which is actually Wakaf featured fund, say. So what I think the Wakaf is actually when the share has a profit and you sell it, so part of that profit need to go to the wakaf. That is actually the purpose of the share. You know, maybe the share is related to hospital, say like that. So part of that portion of your profit when you sell your share, need to allocate um to that what to that particular purpose of the wakaf. Okay, if you sell you lost, then both tak dapat apa-apa lah, you know, both doesn't get anything. But the principle of the asset, let's say the shares still have that price, that is actually your capital. They it can be what I said, they cannot, unless you agree that when you buy that particular share, that part of their capital need to go to wakaf. If that's so, maybe also that capital is yours, but the profit that you earn from that shares will partly go to the wakaf, or maybe you want to have all the profit to the wakaf. It is up to you, and it's also up to the product base that we are actually we venture, because I cannot describe the fund or the shares that is actually not being launched, but again we can actually wait and see, because from my experience there are some other fund wakaf base that is actually doing quite well also. But the principle of that particular fund is actually when you earn you have make a profit from that, investing in that fund. Dividend partly goes to wakaf, and profit also partly goes to wakaf. That is actually the agreement of the fund when you bought.
Okay.
Mm.
So the next question is, how are Waqf futures fund utilized in the Islamic capital market, and what are the potential benefit of investing in such fund?
Okay, if you are asking me about the benefit for okay, maybe for Muslim or non-Muslim, you can have that peace of mind that part of it is actually for the good deeds, right? When you the profit goes to the purpose of the fund. the purpose of the fund Waqf base. What is actually, you need to know what is actually that fund supposed to Waqf, what kind of Waqf they are going to do. So when you invest to that, and then part of your money goes to Waqf, it is kind of what you are giving a donation, something like that. But if you don't feel like giving, then you don't we are not going to invest in the Waqf featured fund, betul tak? Is it true? So again, if you want to invest in such a fund or such a share, you need to know that you are actually contributing to the purpose of the Waqf.
Okay, then
For the benefit, that is one of the benefit. And other benefit is actually, usually I would say that the Waqf base featured fund will be moderate, low to moderate or balanced fund. It will not be high. I don't think that it will be a high risk fund or high risk share.
okay, now the next question is for the Waqf asset, for example, the commercial one, what are the current strategies implemented to make sure the sustainability in terms of management and profitability and so on?
Okay. Do you know that there are many buildings and many property in Malaysia, it is actually Waqf. Maybe some of us don't know, because okay, what I would say that those who have been coming to Johor Bahru, you know that the Lakin bus station, the famous Lakin bus station, is actually Waqf. And another one is actually there are many in other states. There are the Islamic cemetery is actually Waqf. And then another one is actually another example, like I said, oh, that one I cannot mention. That one I can mention. There are many. If you can actually Google. There are many assets that is actually we benefit from that particular place is actually Waqf place. Not to mention the most of the mosques can. Some of us know that most of the mosques are Waqf, and also Tafiz. But for the building, yes, there are many that we don't know that is actually, oh, these have come from the Waqf asset. But the asset is actually most of it come from the organization, association. So again, maybe you can actually Google. I cannot because some of them I cannot mention.
Okay, I hope we have addressed to your question.
Success
So,
story, yeah. There are. Can you share success stories or case study where Waqf is initiative is significant? Oh, I think Annie, I have already mentioned one of them. KL, I forgot. There are a few places in KL and Selangor, they are is waqafed by a person. So and some of actually the Waqf, the asset, or the places that that is Waqf by an individual, they cannot reveal the name. But for organization, association, you can actually have a Google. You can actually it's not Google. You can actually check. You have a check. Actually, you can actually check. It is actually, for me, benefit to others initiatives, such as, for, let's say, I have a land. If most of the cemetery is from the Waqf, the person who Waqf his land or her land to be as a cemetery for Muslim or non-Muslim, it is actually benefit enough, because not everyone want to, to give up their own land, right? So, and then to find land is not that easy unless, yeah, of course, allocation of the certain part of facilities, and also the social development, for the public development, need to be decided by the government. But if you are actually giving up your own asset for the public to benefit from that, it is actually successful enough. But for the Waqf fund, featured for Waqf featured fund, or either or, the name we have to decide later. Then I think there will be um an, different types of terms and condition. But I think that the share or the fund will be based on certain asset, or maybe certain commodities, or maybe certain asset. I would say certain asset, because maybe REITs, I'm not sure, maybe REITs, something like REITs, or maybe something like investment of this particular purpose, to build up, to develop business, to develop, and the university to develop education, to invest in overseas. I don't know, because these are very not to be discussed, because the product is not there yet. So again, yeah,
Okay.
is in what way?
Yes.
In what way does Wakaf Commission principle, and how the compliance
Uh,
distinguish?
Let me read the question.
Yes, because I sorry, I sudah tua. Okay.
Oh, okay. So, in what ways does a Waqf comply with Sharia rules and principles, and how does this compliance distinguish it from other similar concepts like endowment, trust, or foundation?
This one, okay, anything that they need they want to do, and they have to comply with the Sharia compliance rules and regulation. And they must have their board of Sharia themselves to make sure that the compliance are intact. So that one, I don't have that worry in that sense, because the special the you know the specialist in the Sharia compliance, and the person who can actually advise on this Waqf matters should be intact, should be complied. They cannot do like just do it, no, because Bursa, I know they have a very good board of Sharia.
Okay, the next question is, can you share with us how does the concept of Waqf differ from the traditional charitable donations?
Oh, charitable donation is something that you, like, today you want to donate, tomorrow you don't want to donate, and you can want to donate 1 ringgit, you can donate how much ringgit. But for Waqf, they have a specific terms and regulation, and they have a very clear contract. So like I said, they have a very clear statement, sirah, we call it sirah, because you cannot you cannot take back your money that you have already wakaf, things like that. And then they have a very proper terms and condition, because different wakaf has a different purpose, and also different terms. And the main thing is actually the wakaf purpose. They need to comply, to know that when you wakaf you wakaf for certain things, you need to very clear. You need to make sure that the purpose of the wakaf is what.
Okay, the next question is, what challenges exist in the promotion and implementation of Waqf initiative on a broader scale?
Challenge. Um, in what kind of challenges. For Waqf, to be frank, it is not so challenged in the sense of the traditional Waqf is not so challenged, but for the Waqf featured fund, it will be a challenge things for the industry, for the capital, the financial industry, especially the those are in the capital market, to make to explain and to create the awareness to the public. That will be a challenge, because once the product is there, then the details, the character is need to be clarified to the public, for them to make sure that they will involve, or they will join the participate in the Waqf featured fund.
Okay. So the next
Yeah.
question is, can you elaborate more on the potential impact of geopolitical factors on the global perception and practice of Waqf in Islamic finance?
Mm, the political, the potential impact will be, maybe more country will be doing the same thing, because not many people are doing the Waqf featured fund at the moment, but Malaysia has that, and then um I heard that Singapore also are doing that also. But again, more country will be doing the same development of Waqf featured fund in the future, because this is more realistic and affordable for us who want to participate in Waqf.
Okay. So the next question is, how does the concept of Waqf align with the principle of Islamic jurisprudence, and what are the key considerations for ensuring compliance with Sharia rules and regulations?
For the smart contracts, yeah, this one is not there's no issue, because it will be a normal um it is a normal investment, like the one that we are having right now. There's no such thing as complicated, because if in the fintech, we are talking about the technology is like the fintech that um is currently we are having it now. So Waqf is actually the same thing. The only thing that they need to clarify, what are the asset, what are the feature of the investment, what are the purpose of the Waqf. If the people invest, do they have to know what is actually the purpose of the investment, and at the end of the day, part of the profit goes to Waqf, things like that, or maybe part of your principal may go to Waqf. So these are the things that the public should know. So we have to clarify that, so that the public knows that before they invest in the Waqf featured fund. How to address for Waqf to be more proactive in every state. Currently most Waqf is not active, depend on state. Yes, Mariam, I agree with you. How to address Waqf to be more, because what I can see actually, Waqf is more proactive in organization, things like NGOs, association. Um, so so I think how to address, yeah. I think we need to educate people that Waqf is actually good for everyone, and then the state, we need to have the support from the state to to you know to collaborate with the person who is actually want to do the Waqf, you know, things like that. Because I think they are open, more than open hand to help. Mm. Because yeah, I can see some state are not active, because maybe they don't have enough capability, or maybe not enough people to handle this kind of Waqf.
Okay. So the next question is, in what ways can Waqf be integrated into broader ESG investment framework to align with contemporary ethical standards?
Again, ESG is actually a product because most of the shares are actually ESG. Now there's so many shares of fund ESG. So again, ESG is part of intangible asset that we can actually create the Waqf featured fund. So I don't think any problem with that, because the integration of as long it is actually has that value, if things that has that value can be wakaf, can be assigned as a wakaf.
Okay, I hope we have addressed to your
Mm.
question. So the next question is, how can technology such as blockchain or
Oh,
smart contract
I have already
already?
answered.
Okay, so the next one is, in what ways can Wakaf initiative collaborate with non-governmental organizations and governmental bodies to maximize their impact on society development?
Well, actually, this one is actually we are currently doing it. I mean, the NGOs, the NGO are actually the one who is actually active in wakaf, instead of the uh state government, religious state government, because religious state government, they have so many things to do, so they can actually collaborate and help us to do. That's why there are so many NGOs came up with different kind of wakaf and purpose. So I think that in Malaysia we have a very quite numbers and quite good NGOs who actually can manage the wakaf with a very specific purpose, and it is successful actually. Mm.
Okay. So the next question is, how can Wakaf be utilized to address emerging social issues such as healthcare disparities or access to the clean water on a global scale?
Yeah, that one is actually wakaf. This is one of the wakaf that can be used for the society. Though there's a four wakaf, that one. So one of the wakaf, the one that I mentioned is for the society. Actually, the best wakaf is actually when you can actually do for the public, for the society, and I mean, it is actually it has been um many years. The Wakaf in Malaysia has been doing this actually. The only thing that most of us do not know that this is those are Wakaf assets and things like that. So I don't think there will be any problem, because okay, part of KPJ KPJ group, this hospital there, part of it is actually uh there are percent of it is actually from wakaf, from wakaf, from the money that people donate, actually. For this is one of the things that we can know, because this is actually public knowledge. KPG is one of the hospital group, change group that has percent of wakaf element. Mm.
Okay, so the next question is, in what ways does the digitization of assets pose challenges and opportunity for the management and governance of Wakaf
This one
fund?
I have already answered. I think this one there's no problem for
Oh,
this one,
okay.
because it's already done for certain wakaf government linked company. They have already done this before. What I know is Wakaf Anur. Wakaf Anur is one of them. Yeah,
Mm.
and then we have another Wakaf. I can't remember that one. There
Okay.
is actually one company that is actually very aggressively doing the Wakaf concept based on the
Okay.
asset, intangible and tangible asset.
Okay. So maybe for the last question,
Mm-mm.
can you provide the instance of movable, immovable, and intellectual asset utilized in Waqf within Malaysia?
Immovable.
Yeah.
Immovable is like what? Fixed asset.
You
Uh, uh, is it a house? Something like that? That one. You want to you want me to answer like such as what?
the things the object cannot be moved.
No, no. Okay. Wakaf is actually uh immovable asset is like you can actually walk off your land, like you said, land, property, everything, as long as it is yours, not others. It as long as actually um it's not loan, it's not financing. For movable, it's like cash, shares. You can actually your business shares and everything, things like that. The one that I have already mentioned in the slides.
Okay.
Those are the things.
Okay. So far, no more question.
Mm.
So thank you, Miss
Oh yeah,
Nurin,
yeah, yeah.
okay, for her insightful sharing. So hope you guys have learned something new today.